There are dozens of barriers to getting quality health care in our country today, but they all have one thing in common. These barriers make life even more miserable for people who live daily with physical pain. And it can start early in a patient's journey.
I suffered for maybe a decade with symptoms that were strange, and I didn't know what was going on, but I was going to several different doctors and trying to tell them that I knew something was wrong with me, something's wrong with my body, and I was not believed.
Heather has multiple sclerosis.
Most days are like walking uphill in quicksand that's electrified.
Heather says she's seen it all in the past decade, from drug step therapy.
They wanted me to go on a totally different drug. I had already been on 3 other ones that didn't work for me because of side effects.
To doctors who were completely ambivalent about her symptoms and cries for help.
And was finally referred to a neurologist who told me that he wanted to prove me wrong. And sent me for an MRI to show me that I was incorrect in what I thought. I thought I had multiple sclerosis at that time. And sure enough, my MRIs come back and I've got spots on my brain and spinal cord.
She says she finally found a doctor who offered the care she needed, but just after the birth of her daughter, her symptoms flared up again. Her doctor suggested a therapy that would treat her painful symptoms and allow her to continue breastfeeding.
She wanted me on the IVIG just try to stop the continuing insult to my spine. And yeah, the insurance said no. They said no, it's not medically necessary, and so I had to stop breastfeeding my daughter and go on a drug that didn't work for me.
After traveling to Chicago at out-of-pocket costs, Heather finally was approved by her insurance company for the weeks-long treatment as part of a clinical trial at Northwestern University. The treatment involves removing her own stem cells, aggressive chemotherapy to purposely destroy her immune system, then reimplanting her stem cells to restart or reboot her immune system. It's called hematopoietic stem cell transplantation.
I was relieved that I was there, that it was happening, that I had, hope for my future at that point.
But she says even after that critical insurance approval, things went sideways, and at the worst possible time.
I was in interventional radiology waiting to go get this PICC line placed, and I'm on the phone then with my mom there next to me, and they're telling me on the phone that it's not going to be covered, and then it is, and then it isn't, it is.
After a week's delay and a desperate fight with her insurance company, Heather says she got the approval she needed to participate in the clinical trial. And the results were rewarded when she held her daughter not long after her treatment.
The first thing I noticed after the transplant was that I could feel with my fingers, and I hadn't been able to do that in a couple of years. It was always impaired. There's something wrong. And I got to feel her cheeks for the first time, like ever, without impairment. It was amazing.
After more than a decade fighting, Heather was finally given the chance at a normal life. It shouldn't be this hard for people to get the care they need to live the life we all deserve.